Have you ever felt that really deep pressure to conform, to be the person someone else wants you to be? Especially, when that someone is family.
Oh, absolutely. It's like this invisible script they hand you.
Exactly. A script often written way before you could even talk,
Hmm?
sort of dictating your worth.
Yeah.
Well, today we're really digging into a powerful story. It's fictional, yeah, but it speaks to something so common, doesn't it?
It really does. It's this compelling journey of one woman finding herself, building resilience, against this backdrop of tricky family stuff and societal pressures.
We've pulled some really potent insights from the source material on this one.
Definitely.
So our mission for this deep dive, we want to unearth those key lessons about how we see ourselves, right?
Right. And how those really early relationships shape us.
And that path, often a tough one, to genuinely accepting yourself.
Yeah, finding that self-acceptance.
We want to show you how you can claim your own identity, even when, maybe, the world around you seems to have a completely different plan.
A different script entirely.
So let's get into it. Let's unpack Victoria's story. It really opens in her early life where those first seeds of self-doubt were sown. Her parents, Jim and Christine, they're described as this sort of perfect image, a dazzling pair, flawless, all-American good looks.
Oh, it's something off a magazine cover.
Exactly. And that right there, it sets a powerful tone, doesn't it?
It really does. From day one, she's born into this world where how things look, the perception of perfection, that's what matters most.
And it's interesting how the father, Jim, is described. He wore the pants.
Yeah, very much in control. He didn't want Christine to work. It was all about what would people think.
Right. He wanted her at home and waiting.
And Christine, she seemed okay with that role, apparently comfortable because she adored him.
It paints this picture, doesn't it? A household really driven by ego and what others think, external validation.
Definitely. Which makes their initial reluctance to have kids quite interesting, too.
Yeah, they like their independence.
But then, that societal pressure kicks in, people asking why they didn't have kids.
The constant inquiries here.
And eventually Jim just decides, okay, it's time to start a family.
And Christine just agreed.
And then Victoria arrives. A girl. Not the son he wanted.
And the source calls this a major blow to his ego.
Wow. That immediate disappointment, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows how early those parental expectations, even the unspoken ones, can make a child feel, well, not enough.
It's heartbreaking, really. He even makes this joke right after she's born, incredibly hurtful.
Saying she looks like Queen Victoria.
And implying, she certainly didn't look like she was theirs.
Just an offhand comment, maybe, but for a child. It sets the stage for this lifelong struggle about her appearance, about belonging.
And the source really emphasizes how her physical traits kind of reinforce this feeling.
How so?
Well, she was very fair, had white blonde fuzz that became blonde ringlets, these big blue eyes, a creamy white complexion.
Which contrasted sharply with her family, who were described as dark.
Exactly. So that cruel joke from Jim just hits harder, it lands.
And the mother, Christine. Even though she loved Victoria, her main focus was always Jim.
Yeah, the text describes her as the perfect companion for a narcissist of Jim's proportions.
That's a strong description. Needing admiration, often disregarding others' feelings.
Right, and it meant Victoria's emotional needs. They just got pushed aside, overshadowed by her dad's ego and her mom's focus on him.
It's a tough setup.
It really is. And then comes Grace, the second child. Jim's hoping for a boy again.
But it's another girl.
Yeah, but this time, he's enormously relieved.
Why?
Because, and this is key, she looked just like him and Christine this time.
Oh, wow. So the relief wasn't about having a child, it was about the appearance.
Exactly. Grace was absolutely exquisite, like a baby in a picture book. No jokes about looking like a grandmother this time.
The contrast is just so stark.
The source says it was hard to imagine that the two were even sisters. Grace fit in. She was one of them.
Well, Victoria, well, she appeared to have been dropped on their doorstep.
That phrasing is powerful. It really established this pattern of preference, of favoritism that just continued.
And it had real-world consequences, didn't it? Victoria ended up taking on caregiving duties for Grace.
A lot of them, yeah. From a young age, diapers, bathing, feeding, playing.
Which gave Christine a much-needed break for her own things, bridge, golf, trainer.
Right. But despite all that, a really deep bond did form between the sisters.
That's interesting. Victoria won Grace's first smile. Grace adored her.
Yeah, and Victoria even made this silent promise to herself to take care of her all her life.
Which is sweet, but also kind of sad, considering the lack of care she was getting herself.
It really is. That bond was probably a lifeline for her. But still, that feeling of being different, of not fitting in, it just stuck with her.
She felt like the galoshes among the fruit in the picture.
Yeah, that's the description. And people would actually ask if she was adopted.
Oof, that must have hurt.
And it was compounded by things like her appetite. She had a healthy appetite, loved comfort foods, cheeseburgers, ice cream.
Which contrasted with her mother's diet.
Totally. Mom was all broiled fish, steamed vegetables, and salads.
And the father's comments about her eating, just brutal.
Relentless. You're going to regret that appetite one day. Laughing at her eating, frowning at her.
It just hammers home that negative self-image right from childhood,
Yeah.
making her feel flawed for just being hungry.
Exactly. And that continues, doesn't it, into adolescence?
Oh, it intensifies. The criticism, especially around her body. The source says she stopped growing at 5'7".
Which at that age felt tall. She felt like a freak compared to classmates.
And then her art teacher calls her Rubenesque.
Which, technically refers to Rubens' paintings of full-figured women, but Victoria just heard big.
A label she hated. And her father's comments, even the supposedly positive ones.
Right, like about her big bust or killer legs. They were always sort of undermined by something negative.
He made it clear he was disappointed by her looks, like she's failed him somehow.
It's awful. He literally told her she'd need to rely on her brains.
Which sounds like a compliment, but it implies her looks aren't enough.
Exactly, a backhanded compliment. And the mother chimed in too, worried that men don't always like smart girls.
So she needed to look attractive too. It's like an impossible standard.
Totally impossible. Then there's that beach incident. So revealing.
Ah, yes. Grace nearly drowns.
And Victoria acts fast, raced to the water, dove into the wave, pulls Grace out. Pure instinct, bravery.
Heroic, really. But Jim's reaction.
Fury. Directed at Victoria. How could you leave her alone like that?
No praise. No acknowledgement of the rescue.
None. Just blame. And the mother. Silent, comforting Grace.
Wow. The message is just chillingly clear. Victoria's always wrong. Never the hero.
It really drills down into that idea of emotional abuse, that constant criticism, undermining her worth. It just chips away.
And the weight struggles continued through high school.
Yeah, she saw other girls struggling too. Signs of anorexia and bulimia, and she tried everything herself.
What kind of things?
A purging diet, pills from a dorm mate, South Beach diet, swimming, jogging. Desperately tried.
And the frustration must have been immense.
Oh, totally. She'd lose weight, maybe 10 pounds, and her father wouldn't even notice.
He'd ask when she was going to start working out.
Exactly. Oblivious to the effort she'd already made. So what happens?
She gives up. Goes back to comfort eating. Who wouldn't?
It's that vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Effort ignored, only perceived failure highlighted.
And the family's focus.
Yeah.
It's just relentless.
The source says they cared about two things: her weight and how much money she was going to make.
And a third thing, tied to the first.
Her absence of a love life, always linked back to her weight.
Her dad actually said if she'd lose some weight, she'd find a boyfriend.
Yeah. Dismissive. Just classic toxic messaging, isn't it? Tying your worth to looks, money.
Not to who you actually are. You
Ah.
could feel that constant suffocating pressure.
But then things start to shift. As she moves into adulthood, she starts carving her own path.
Creating distance, yeah. Choosing Northwestern for college was a big step. Getting away from L.A.
Definitely. A physical separation. And her career choice, too, wanting to be a teacher. She called it a vocation.
A real calling. But her parents, predictably, they disapproved. Strongly.
Her father said she'd never make decent money. He called it a total waste of time.
He wanted her in advertising or PR, somewhere he could influence.
Yeah.
Get her a job.
And the mother. Same tune. Such a shame you want to be a teacher.
Even comparing Victoria's potential salary to Grace's modeling fees.
Right. $50,000 for a 2-day shoot. It's always about the money, the image, not Victoria's actual passion.
But Victoria stuck to her guns. She wanted to live and work in New York. That was her dream.
And that distance, the geographic and emotional space, it was crucial. It allowed room for something new.
Supportive relationships.
Exactly. And this is where her journey really takes a positive turn, I think.
Her roommates in New York, Harlan and John.
Yeah. Harlan worked in a museum. John was also a teacher. And Harlan, significantly, had his own difficult family background.
So he understood. There was that shared experience of non-accepting parents.
Right. And they just accepted Victoria. for who she was. Her generous middle wasn't an issue. They saw her good qualities.
And they were the ones who gently suggested therapy.
Gently but firmly, yeah. They identified her parents' words for what they were. Toxic, emotional abuse.
That persistent undermining we talked about.
Exactly. And suggesting therapy, that was a huge turning point. It opened the door to healing.
Although she resisted at first, didn't she? Thought she was fine.
Pretty common reaction, I think. But then she has this massive realization in therapy.
About the Queen Victoria comment.
Yeah. Suddenly understanding it wasn't just teasing. It was this lifelong insult, implying she was fat and ugly. The weight of that finally hitting her.
Yeah, it must have been earth-shattering.
And the therapist asks these really profound questions. Do you deserve a nice man to go out with?
And Victoria's response to being asked if she didn't love her sister.
The therapist clarifies, no, I'm saying you don't love yourself.
Wow. That's the core of it, isn't it?
Absolutely. A total aha moment leads to tears, but also this decision to change.
And then the therapist says something powerful.
Affirms her. You're a very attractive woman. Any man would be lucky to have you.
Which is the complete opposite of everything she's ever heard from her family.
Exactly. A direct counter-narrative. And following this, Victoria takes another step, a very concrete, personal one.
The rhinoplasty. The nose job.
Yeah, after overhearing some students talking about plastic surgery. But for her, it wasn't just cosmetic.
It had deep psychological meaning.
Right. It was about taking control, shedding that ugly and ridiculed label her father had basically branded her with.
Symbolically reclaiming herself.
Mm-hmm. She tells Grace, who's supportive in her own way, but keeps it from her parents, wisely.
She knew they'd disapprove.
Oh, for sure. And then, right after the surgery, still bruised, she meets Colin White.
At the gym. And he assumes she was in a car accident.
Yeah, doesn't even clock the surgery or why she's bruised. And he compliments her looks, even with the bruising.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
He sees her, not the perceived flaw or the recovery.
Exactly. And this relationship with Colin becomes this anchor of healthy support. Turns out he has his own baggage with parental pressure.
Really? What
Constant comparison to a deceased older brother who was seen as perfect.
Ah, so they had that shared understanding of toxic messages from family.
Yeah, that common ground really helps. And Colin's acceptance of Victoria is just unwavering.
He says things like, who cares about a few pounds?
Tells her, you're a beautiful woman. I love you the way you are, whatever size you happen to be.
That must have been revolutionary for her to hear.
Completely. And when he meets her father, his presence alone acts as a buffer. He's Victoria's ally.
He doesn't even have to say much, just be there supporting her.
Right. The relationship grows comfortable, easy conversation, sharing lives, and then he suggests moving in together.
Which signals a healthy future, a real partnership. She's finally in the place where she can be herself, feel valued.
Seen and valued for who she is, yeah. Free from that constant judgment.
So things are looking up for Victoria. She's building this life based on self-acceptance. She's got Colin.
Yeah, finally getting some solid ground beneath her feet.
But then Grace's wedding comes along.
Yeah.
And it kind of throws everything back into sharp relief, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It becomes this microcosm of all the family dysfunction she's been trying to escape.
First off, Grace gets engaged to Harry. And he sounds familiar.
Strikingly similar to their father, Jim. The source says he seemed to want to control every aspect of her thought and life. Grace saw him as her idol.
And Victoria worries about this.
Deeply. She's sad, concerned. Grace is losing her whole identity in the relationship.
And the wedding planning itself sounds intense.
Her father goes all out, spares no expense to impress Harry's wealthy family, the Wilkeses.
But at the same time, he's making digs at Victoria about her own potential wedding.
Yeah, suggesting she'd better elope because we couldn't do this again.
Ugh, just constantly reinforcing her lesser status in the family.
It's insidious. And then there's the dress, the bridesmaid dress.
Ah, the infamous brown cow dress.
Chosen by Grace, apparently totally unflattering for Victoria's coloring and her shape, but Grace insists.
And Victoria feels despair over it. She'd resolved to lose weight for the wedding, but then
Breaks her leg before the event, just adding insult to injury, really. More frustration.
But Colin remains her rock through this.
Completely. His comment, I would love you in a burlap bag. It's just perfect. Shows his love isn't conditional on her appearance or size.
He values her.
But the absolute peak of the family drama happens during the bouquet toss.
Oh, right. The mother's comment. Just brutal.
Publicly says to Victoria, let them have it, dear. They're all younger than you are. They'll all get married one day. You don't even know if you ever will.
Oh, my God. In front of everyone.
Yeah.
Victoria just crumples emotionally, feels herself shrink back. feels frozen, undeserving. It's like all the past hurt rushing back.
A total collapse.
But then Colin, sensing her pain, is thinking, "You're lovable." And somehow that thought seems to reach her.
She couldn't hear him, but she sensed it.
That's how the source puts it. And as if in response, her face breaks into a smile. And spontaneously.
She reaches out and catches the bouquet.
Yeah. And it's not about wanting to get married next. It's symbolic.
Of what?
Of her accepting her own worth. Finally, regardless of what her mother says, regardless of external validation.
She doesn't need their approval anymore.
Exactly. And the source makes a really key point here. Her transformation wasn't just because of Colin.
Right. It says it was because of the efforts she'd made to free herself of the past.
Colin happened because she was ready. She'd done the internal work.
That's such an important distinction. The change comes from within.
And her growth doesn't stop there. After the wedding, she continues to evolve. She gets that permanent teaching job at Madison, her dream school.
Right. Cementing her career path, the one her parents disapproved of.
And she becomes a really effective, compassionate teacher, doesn't she? Handling difficult student situations, like Amy's pregnancy.
Yeah, she helps Amy stay in school, achieve her goals. It shows her capacity for nurturing, which is such a contrast to her own upbringing.
And her relationship with Colin keeps getting stronger.
Built on mutual respect, real affection, she finally feels worthy of it and lovable at last.
It's a healthy partnership, unlike what she fears Grace is experiencing.
Right. And her bond with Grace is still there, but she sees their different paths now. Like night and day, positive and negative.
She still hopes Grace can find some independence from their parents' influence.
Yeah, she recognizes Grace was treated differently, worshipped and adored, even but that adoration had its own toxic strings attached.
Ultimately, Victoria reaches a place of real understanding, doesn't she, about herself?
I think so. She gets that her physical traits, her weight struggles, they might still be part of her life. But her perception has changed.
Her self-worth isn't tied to those things anymore.
Exactly. And significantly, she has very little feeling for her parents, neither anger nor affection, which sounds like freedom.
Emotional freedom. She finally defined herself on her own terms, not by their script.
It's a powerful journey, and it really highlights that finding peace, finding love, it often starts by facing those deep-seated negative messages, doesn't it? Especially the ones from childhood.
Absolutely. True transformation. It's not an external fix, is it? It's internal work.
Supported by genuine relationships, people who see and affirm your real worth.
And this is whole deep dive. I think it just clearly shows how powerful and often invisible those family narratives and societal pressures can be in shaping how we feel about ourselves.
Yeah. Victoria's story is really a testament to that power of self-acceptance and the sheer courage it takes sometimes.
Courage to pursue your own dreams, your own path, no matter what others say or expect.
So maybe a final thought for you listening.
Yeah.
Consider the unspoken messages, maybe, that you've picked up throughout your life. The ones that have shaped how you see yourself.
How might identifying those messages, maybe even challenging them, how might that empower you?
Yeah, empower you to define your own path, embrace who you are, fully, just like Victoria eventually did.